Hello to YouTube chatters on the stream, and hello to YouTube viewers on the video. We're going to be watching some true crime today, as we tend to do. These are videos from my Discord. So if you haven't already joined the Discord, you can go to the react suggestions and shove some videos my way. It can be true crime or none.
Farting really loud.
That person's farting, and we like to watch fun stuff on stream. So if you're a YouTuber in any way, feel free to join the Discord. Feel free to come over to Twitch. We stream all of these reactions. That way, chat has a fun time watching. So don't forget to do that. If you're somebody watching the videos, if you're somebody watching the YouTube stream, also make sure to hop on over to the Twitch channel if you want to watch and have a better experience in terms of chat and being able to communicate with me better, etc. Totally up to you. My chat does a pretty decent job, I think. And then, yeah, obviously, if you're a stream watcher, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel just so you don't miss out on anything. We could watch this Fern video on about the kid who hacked the Pentagon. Let's do that. Why does it look like this? Why is this? I'm just going to go to full screen and I'll fix the capture while you guys start watching.
Accused of hacking into Pentagon and NASA systems, 40 million credit card and debit numbers stolen.
On its surface, the International Space Station heats up to 120 degrees Celsius. The onboard temperature and humidity control system keeps the inside at the right temperature for human survival.
God, this is a terrible
If it fails,
aspect ratio,
the astronaut
buddy.
stationed here would literally be cooked.
What do I even do about this?
And just now, a hacker has gotten hold of the system's software.
Hold on, Chad. I'll get there.
He's not a hostile government agent, just a 15-year-old in his bedroom.
Like, how do I make this work? How do I make this work, man? What is this theater screen YouTube video? What do I do about this? Why is the video like, what is this aspect ratio? This looks awful. Can't you just turn off? This is literally not in theater mode. This is the default YouTube video mode. Look. This is how it looks on my monitor. I don't understand. Why does it look like this? Half of the screen is not the video. That's like as good as I can make it look like how it should.
Computers. This teenager is a prodigy, one of the most talented young hackers the world has ever seen. And he didn't just break into NASA, he also hacked the Pentagon. From his point of view, he's just toying around. From the government's perspective,
Casually
he's a national
hacks
security
the
threat.
Pentagon.
Largest identity theft case ever.
Largest data breach in U.S. history.
That affected millions of people.
One that humiliated them over and over again. And one that they will go after ruthlessly.
Oh, no doubt they would.
It's
What
the
a
year
flex.
1989, a suburban village in South Florida.
That's a two truths and a lie moment right there.
This is Jonathan James. He is 6 years old. While other kids are outside playing tag, he's busy inside, glued to the family's computer. Mostly,
Nerd.
he's just playing games. His
Yeah, who would
parents
do
are
that?
worried about his obsession. His dad is a programmer. At one point, he installs parental protection on the computer. But Jonathan just breaks through it.
Beast.
In his early teens, he starts reading books on the programming language C and the operating system Unix, a precursor for Linux and Mac OS. He studies source code extensively and talks to other computer enthusiasts. He spends countless hours in front of the computer, often until late into the night. One afternoon, Jonathan uninstalls Windows from his family PC, then installs Linux. No one asked him to. No one could stop him.
No one asked him to.
His computer time regularly leads to arguments with his parents. It doesn't get any better once he gets his own PC. After a while, his parents decide to confiscate it. Jonathan runs away.
They were worried
and
about
says
his
he's not
computer
coming home
time. Why
until
would
he
they
gets it
take?
back.
Why would they give him a computer?
Soon, it won't be his parents who are trying to keep him away from a computer, but the US government.
The Pentagon. They hacked the Pentagon.
At 15, Jonathan has long morphed from curious preteen to full-blown hacker. One of the youngest and best at the time. Online, he's known under his alias, Comrade. Jonathan really enjoys messing with systems, not to break them, but to beat them. It's a power thing, a control thing. He likes the thrill of it. The tougher the system, the more it pulls him in. He goes in, proves it's not so secure after all, and moves on. He doesn't care much about the stuff inside. He doesn't steal data, delete files, or spread viruses. In fact, sometimes he does the opposite. He'll break in, then send a polite little email to the system admin.
Called a white hacker, or a white hood hacker.
Here's where. Here's how to fix it. In the summer of 1999, Jonathan is looking for a new challenge, so he decides to hack NASA. More specifically, the agency's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. He gains access to 13 NASA computers. It's unclear how, and this time Jonathan decides to actually take something. He downloads proprietary software valued at $1.7 million.
Gulp.
It's the software for the temperature and humidity control of the ISS. In an interview, Jonathan will later say, "The code itself was crappy, certainly not worth $1.7 million like they claimed. The only reason I was downloading the source code in the first place was because I was studying C programming. And what better way to learn than reading software written by the government?"
Chad.
Just downloading the software didn't give Jonathan remote control over the ISS systems. Having the source code is one thing, but actually sending commands to a spacecraft is a whole different story.
Or just
It would have
hacks the
taken more
entire
steps to
health
actually
and
access the system.
system of
But this hack
spaceships.
is still a massive security breach.
Wild.
When NASA finds out,
Yeah, it
they
felt
have
like
to
it.
shut down their systems for 3 weeks, resulting in damages of around $40,000.
I mean, that's a drop in the bucket, but
2 months later, Jonathan takes up his next challenge, hacking the Pentagon. More specifically, their Defense Threat Reduction Agency. It analyzes and deals with potential threats to the US from nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. Jonathan gains access to a server in Dulles, Virginia, and installs a backdoor. Again, it is unknown how he actually pulled this off. Once inside DTRA
I'm sure it
systems,
is.
he intercepts more than 3,300 messages to and from DTRA staff.
I'm sure it is known. They just don't want to say how it's known because they don't want people to be like,
at least 10 of
"Oh."
which have access to military computers. Jonathan thinks his hacks are no big deal. To him, they are, quote, just harmless exploration. Law enforcement disagrees.
That is fair. I mean,
It's an early morning in January 2000.
pretty
Last month,
fair of them
Jonathan
to
turned
assume that.
16. By now, he has not one, but multiple computers of his own. He is well connected with other hackers, sharing tips and tricks. He also loves Star Trek. His mother comes
He
into the
gets
room
the
and wakes him
password.
up.
I love war crimes.
Jonathan,
1, 2, 3.
The FBI's at the door.
Gulp.
They're here for him. They raid his family home and take 5 computers. They also take his Palm Pilot, some CDs, and his Star Trek book.
No.
Bold choice for evidence.
Why was the Star Trek book
Jonathan is
evidence?
questioned by the
Hello?
officers. He admits everything and promises to never do it again. Then he hears nothing for 3 months. And then the authorities press charges,
Of course
and
they
his
press
life begins to
charges.
change dramatically.
Duh.
Jonathan James becomes the youngest person ever convicted of violating cybercrime laws in the US. If Jonathan had been an adult, he might have ended up with a decade behind bars.
Low key a flex.
But he's still a minor. So the U.S. District Court in Miami puts him on 6 months house arrest. Jonathan is no longer allowed to use his computers in his free time. And even worse, he has to write letters of apology to NASA and the Department of Defense. Later, he tests positive for drugs,
My bad,
a
bro.
clear probation violation. So he gets sent to a juvenile detention facility for 6 months.
Ooh.
He's scared about spending time there with actual criminals. His father will later say that prison changed Jonathan. It made him strangely idle. Looking back, Jonathan regrets the whole
Idle?
thing. What started as fun challenges ended with him behind bars. The thrills weren't worth it.
Well, no.
Not even close. From that point on, he decides to leave hacking behind for good. But not everyone believes him. And a few years later, his past life will catch up with him. Some viewers think our animations are made with AI. Our 3D artists, who spend countless hours building these shots from scratch, aren't angry,
Get him, beast.
just disappointed. AI can be helpful with other tasks though, like research.
Yeah, clap
That's
him.
where Merlin AI comes in. Merlin AI
Damn, I thought he was just cooking some haters. The dogs. What the
This
hell?
is Albert Gonzalez. He's got a few things in common with Jonathan James. He was also born in the 80s. He too is a self-taught hacker. When he was 14, he also broke into NASA systems. And as a consequence, he also got a visit by the FBI. But that didn't stop Gonzalez from hacking. Far from it. We don't know if Albert Gonzalez and Jonathan James knew each other, but they had a common hacker friend called Christopher Scott. Gonzalez went by many aliases on the internet, but his favorite was Soup Nazi, a reference to a Seinfeld episode.
You want bread?
Yes, please.
$3.
In the early 2000s, Gonzalez stumbled across Shadow Crew, a marketplace for trafficking stolen credit and bank card numbers
It's
and
an old
identity
reference to
information.
Seinfeld, chat.
And even though the feds are having an eye
That's
on
an
him,
Unk
he
reference.
gets involved. In 2003, he gets caught trying to pull cash from an ATM using fake credit cards. To avoid jail time, he agrees to work with the Secret Service. Soon, he helps them bust a bunch of Shadow Crew members. You'd expect that his work as an
Dude,
informant
what do
for
you
the
mean,
Secret
dude?
Service.
You're telling me that you think a majority of people who are young now know Seinfeld? I don't even know Seinfeld. I did not watch Seinfeld. I'm 28. I did not. I have not.
Would stop him from any criminal activity. But well, in his view, the salary from
You
the Secret
don't?
Service is too
No.
low.
I never watched
So he
it.
gets back to what he does best, hacking.
I'm sure I
He sets
could
up an
have.
elaborate scheme he calls Get Rich or Die Trying. The scheme will turn into one of the world's biggest cases
I've seen
of
a few
identity
episodes
theft.
here and there,
It'll
but I've
ruin his
never
life.
actually watched it.
But
Like,
Jonathan James will end up dead.
what? Gulp?
This is Scott, who is both friends with Gonzalez and James. Next to him sits someone who, according to criminal reports, is only known as JJ. They're doing something called war driving. It's a simple technique. You drive around in your car and park close to companies. You only need your laptop and a high-power radio antenna.
Yeah, literally.
Once you're
like
close
some-
enough, you check for vulnerabilities in their Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, and you steal their shit.
Back then, most companies weren't exactly taking cybersecurity seriously. Inside Office Max, people are buying Post-its and whiteboard markers in 4 colors, gearing up for a meeting that probably could have been an email.
46 months.
Outside,
Oh
Scott
gosh,
and JJ
I
access
feel
the store's
old,
Wi-Fi.
dude. Not
And
an
through
old
that,
sub,
enter its
but def
systems.
not new.
Once
but also
inside,
def
they
not
install
new
a sniffer
follower.
program,
Anyways,
which captures and
hey
downloads
man.
credit and debit
Very
card data
random.
from
I
customers.
got the King Slime Madrina's
Then they send
flavor
the data to
last
Gonzalo.
time and liked it. What should I get next that is not coffee or something with lots of energy?
This is actually a really good explanation on how they do these like Wi-Fi hacks, by the way. Oops, I
to
muted
another
it.
hacker who decrypts the PIN codes. Gonzalez and his crew don't just sell the stolen card info, they encode them onto blank magnetic strip cards and use those to pull tens of thousands of dollars out of ATMs. After the Office Max breach, banks were apparently forced to reissue around 200,000 cards. And this hack wasn't a one-off. Over the span of the next 3 years, Gonzalez and his crew hack into several major US companies, including BJ's Wholesale Club, Boston Market, Barnes & Noble, Forever 21, and others. Their biggest credit card data
3
heist
months
happens at
hog.
TJX. That's the parent company of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, and others. Around 96 million TJX customers are affected by the theft of their credit and debit card info. At the time, these
Damn,
attacks make
bro.
up the largest case of identity theft in US history. The crew stole the data of around 180 million credit and debit cards. The total damage of all infected companies amounts to roughly $400 million in reimbursements, legal costs, and forensic fees.
There's a major break in a credit card scam that affected millions of people.
Experts say this man's arrest
may lead to the kingpin behind the biggest credit card ID theft in history.
The Secret Service investigates, and at one point, they realize that their very own informant is not only involved, but is the mastermind behind the TJX heist.
What? That's fucking awesome. Wait, that's so fucking sick.
Pinecrest, Florida. Jonathan James is 24 years old now. He doesn't go to college. He doesn't have a job.
I thought he said pie crust for a second.
His mother died of breast cancer 6 years ago. Together with his brother, he still lives in the house he grew up in. He apparently suffers from depression. Overall, he's living a withdrawn life and is retired from hacking. But today, he'll get another surprise visit. This time, it's the Secret Service.
Not again!
They raid the family's house, just like the FBI had done 8 years ago. They drew a connection from Gonzalez to Christopher Scott to him. They suspect that JJ is short for Jonathan James, and that he's part of the hacker group. The agents go through Jonathan's stuff.
That's a fair assumption.
They find a suicide note he had written years ago, and a gun. We don't know if the agents offer him psychological help, but according to Jonathan, they don't confiscate the weapon. Jonathan is shocked. He swears that he has nothing to do with the TJX case. What's going on? On the subpoena, he's able to find some answers. He reads about this guy, Albert Gonzalez. Jonathan recognizes him by another nickname he used online. Gonzalez has been working as an informant for the feds since 2003. For 5 years, Gonzalez used Scott to pull off his hacks, while simultaneously writing out other hackers to the feds to stay in their good graces. Jonathan is sure that Gonzalez is now trying to pin the hacks on Scott. And he is getting a bad feeling. He thinks that'll be a much more appealing target than Chris. It might not matter to the feds that he's innocent. Even though, in his words,
I doubt it does.
Scott and Gonzalez are the most destructive, dangerous hackers the feds ever caught. They'll let them off easy because he's a juicier target. That would please the public more. In Jonathan's mind, the picture is clear. They need a scapegoat. Not Gonzalez, not Scott, not the one who actually caused the damage, but him, Jonathan. In his words, the feds played dirty. He holds these beliefs for a reason. There's this paper that has made rounds in the hacker scene.
Agent Steele's Guide doing it to show busted. He's quoting somebody.
It's basically a survival guide for hackers, written by one who ended up in prison. Agent Steele's real name was Justin Tanner Peterson. He was an American hacker who worked as an informant for the feds while continuing to commit crimes. Agent Steele writes, "The criminal justice system is a game to be played, both by prosecution and defense. And if you have to be a player, you'd be wise to learn the rules of engagement." He makes it clear that law enforcement isn't always fair. They play dirty and will do just about anything, including lie, to win their case.
Holy based.
Jonathan read this guide, and he knows that Gonzalez is working with the feds, so he's convinced he's going to prison, even though he's innocent. The first time was already terrifying. He doesn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, kind of makes sense it was building up to this.
On May 18th, 2008, 2 weeks after agents raided his home, Jonathan was found dead in his home after a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He wrote a note. There are messages to his family and friends, passwords to his accounts. In this letter, he also expresses his opinion on the authorities. He writes, "I have no faith in the justice system. Perhaps my actions
threw him under the bus because
will
they
send a stronger message to the public.
Literally, the public would.
Either way, I have lost control over the situation, and this is my only way to regain control. Remember, it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether I win or lose. And sitting in jail for 20, 10, or even 5 years for a crime I didn't commit is not me winning. I die free."
Damn. That's intense, bro.
In March 2010, Albert Gonzalez was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for his role in the series of hacks. In the backyard of his parents, the Secret Service seized a barrel containing $1.2 million in cash.
What?
Christopher Scott was sentenced to 7 years in prison for his role in the attacks. It's likely that the pseudonym JJ didn't refer to Jonathan James, but rather to Stephen Watt, another figure convicted in the TJX case, who was known to use the alias Jim Jones online. At the point of
Bruh.
his death, Jonathan neither had been arrested, charged, tried, nor sentenced. It seems like knowing that Gonzalez had worked with the Secret Service fueled Jonathan's fear to become a scapegoat and end up in prison.
I mean, I feel like that's fair.
Jonathan James wasn't some criminal mastermind. He was a teenager with a rare talent and a deep curiosity
That's
for how
so
systems
sad,
work.
bro.
After he hacked into them, he often offered to help fix them. Instead of guiding such talents, helping to channel them into something good, the justice system decided to make an example out of him.
Yeah, what shocker. What a shock right there. The fucking justice system making the wrong move because they're mad. Literally because they're just fucking annoyed that they got played. That's crazy.